Baseball's back in Knoxville, baby. Among other things. It's been a crazy busy week for the most of us out there. We're hitting home runs here in West Knoxville, way far away from that stadium. Anyway, we're almostagreement@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, on Twitter, and YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Check out what's going on there. Hollaroo is less than a month away. May 17th. Come out and play with us. It's going to be a good time. We got derby. We got a soapbox derby. We got a street fair. We've got a rock and roll show. A bunch of announcements coming out over the next 2 weeks about lineup, timing, the exact schedule for the day. Just mark it on your calendar. You're taking the whole day to come hang out and Happy Holler with us. That's all you should be doing. 10,000 other things going on. We are on all your favorite podcast providers. Go to those places. Do what you can to support the show. Text us to your friends. Like, share, friend, follow, all that kind of stuff on the socials. Comment on videos and stuff like that if you're going to do us through YouTube. Whatever you can do to spread the word. We're going to keep doing our shows. We're going to start working on the city season here pretty soon, too. So, hemp bill pass, motherfuckers. Oh, so much for our YouTube monetization. Oh, well. Anyway, here's the show, everybody. We're going to do it. So I'm super torn. How are you, friend?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. What's new with you?
Oh, not much.
All right. So we got the important parts out of the way. I'm super torn. Like, part of me, like, do I want to tell the truth as I understand it and let other people know, or do I want to be quiet about it and be the only person who's paying attention close enough to take advantage of it? Because we did really well in 2020, 2019, when Tennessee changed the smoking age to 21. And it's one of those things that I fully understand people's brains and why they went there. But they put in... they put in the law passed in session, and the way that particular one was written, it wasn't going into effect until January 1 of 21. I think it was the 2020 session, 2021, Jan 1, 2021 is went into effect. And so we continued to sell to 18, 19, and 20-year-olds on principle, because you know how I feel about age of consent and stuff like that, but also because it was good money. We continued to sell to 18, 19, and 20-year-olds up until January 1 when the law actually took effect.
Right.
And so we had a lot of people like, no, the other stores aren't selling to us. It's like, well, the other stores don't understand how the law works, and that's their problem, not mine. To the point where I had one kid who was 18, living at home, got caught with his vapes, and his mom got pissed off and called and yelled at me. And I was like, ma'am, I apologize, but we did not break the law by selling to your son. You shouldn't be selling to him. He's only 18. It's like, yes, ma'am. As of this moment that we are speaking, 18 is old enough to smoke in Tennessee. It will be 21 on January 1, but right now it's still 18. So your son is... I'm not going to... It's not my job to not sell to your son because you asked me to. I can't do that.
Right.
I don't know your son. I don't know who he is. But you need to have a conversation with your son about maybe not buying the things with your money, since you give him money all the time, apparently, because that's one of the things she told me in the argument. It's like, I didn't give him permission to spend my money on that. It's like, again, not my problem.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you at all. And so there's part of me on the same thing that and again, I don't know where, like, this is just passed yesterday.
Right. Lee still got to sign it, but I think I saw it mentioned in the story that he has not ever vetoed anything that's come across his desk.
He ain't going to veto this one. He was in on the production of it in the first place.
Yeah.
The governor's office, the TBI, and ABC together created this bill for Briggs to put on the floor. They were part of the creation process, so he's in on it. And so he will sign it. And even if he doesn't sign it, at least in the Senate side, it hit the 2/3 threshold that he can't veto it anyway. Well, one, in the state of Tennessee, I don't think he has veto power, period.
I think he does.
Even if he does, the legislature original passing was above the veto threshold.
Right. But I think it would still have, I don't know, but I would assume it would still have to go back to the Senate to then override
the veto? I don't know.
I don't think it could be an automatic, like, hey, no,
I would love to see it happen just to see it at work.
I mean, a couple articles I saw on it said, there'll most likely be kind of like some of the other bills that have gone through, so there'll be appeals.
Yeah, there'll be, well, I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I know for a strong assumption that as soon as Lee's pen touches the paper, a lawsuit will be filed.
Right.
If not multiple. And again, just on a practical base, like just learning what we learned from last time around, when the last time they gave us this hemp bill that was going to normalize the industry and we didn't have to mess with all this shit anymore, that they promised us was the good bill that we were going to be nice and clean and everything was going to be great. Like, all 2 years ago when that one passed, it's a big, it was a big ask for them to put that on Department of Ag like they did. I agree with that. But even Department of Alcoholic Beverage Commission, they are not going to have the infrastructure in place to handle the onslaught of permit applications and all the paperwork and all the things that this bill is going to require. They're not going to have that ready by July 1.
Right.
There's no freaking way. And again, last version of it was July 1 of the following year when all of this stuff was supposed to start happening with ag. So it was, what year are we in now?
25.
So 24. So the original hemp one passed in the 23. Passed in the 23 session, and then part of it took effect Jan 1 of 24, and then the ag part that was all the control of the industry going to ag didn't theoretically take effect until July 1, and they still weren't ready.
I thought there was something they pushed back to like November of last year that you were worried about, and I was like, it's going to get pushed back again.
Well,
or no,
it did.
December 24th.
Right, it was
the
the July 1. That July 1 date was to get all the registration and stuff like that, and they were still promulgating the rules on what products were allowed, what products weren't allowed, all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
And so we're all getting our permits and our licenses to continue to sell hemp, and we don't even know what the definition of hemp from ag is. Ag doesn't know the definition yet. And then later that year is when they dropped the rule, which was hinting at banning this, that, and the other from the thing. And we're like, no, that's not what the law says, and that's what that lawsuit was, which is still pending. That lawsuit originally dropped in like September, October of 24, and then on Christmas Eve, the judge postponed it till January. And my assumption is when Briggs entered this bill into calendar, the judge then postponed it again till June.
Yeah.
Because now that this bill is in play, they don't have to answer the question. Because it's no longer in Department of Ag's jurisdiction, which is what this whole question is about.
It's moot.
Right. And so it's a moot point. The judge didn't have to make a decision. That judge is happy that they're not on the hook for anything. And, judges in Tennessee are elected, and so this person has a future election to look out for. They don't want to be responsible for costing a bunch of people their jobs.
It was nice to see there was a couple, I don't know if they were senators or congressmen, that actually got up that mentioned, and one of them was supportive of the bill, but made a point to mention, it's like, hey, we need to remember that we passed this, so, we're putting all this extra stuff onto everybody else and businesses. I was like, I support this, but we need to realize that we passed this, this was partly our mistake or whatever.
That's
that
part
we're responsible for at least some of this mess that we're trying to clean up or whatever. So it was nice to see some kind of recognition of that.
I don't know. You're gonna do I don't remember who the guy Yarborough, was that who it was? I don't remember who it was. Gave the whole speech about how didn't we just do this 2 sessions ago, and we asked for some some grace from the industry as we were trying the growing pains of getting this thing settled, and now not even 18 months later, we're throwing everything we just did out, that all these promises we made them out and starting over. I'll vote yes. It's what are you doing? How do you make that speech and then still vote yes?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. I want to say it was Yarborough or
I don't think so. So I think pretty much all the Democrats voted against it.
It was
all 12 of them.
It was in the committee. It was in one of the committees.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't remember the name, and maybe he didn't vote yes for it. But either way,
I think I saw a quote from Clemens. I think he's out of Nashville. It was basically saying, it's hey, we set this up, and we pretty much encourage an industry to start doing things. Businesses started building capital for this, and now we're basically saying, it's all fucked.
Well, yeah, never mind.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing is, there's so many faults in it. I emailed Becky and Briggs together with both of their office assistants in the circle of email, and I said I was very disappointed to see your name on the yays list, Becky. Although I'm not surprised, I really think this is a mistake. But the table is set. Now we got to figure out how to move forward. And I said, I would really like to sit down with both of you, and I want you both to walk me through exactly what I need to do to stay in business. So we'll see how that one goes. But I'm really I'm really frustrated with it because I can't figure the logic doesn't make any sense. And that was my argument to Briggs the whole time. It's like, if you're doing this to protect kids, it won't. If you're doing this to protect consumers, it won't. I don't think Briggs understands how the Alcoholic Beverage Commission actually works. If you're doing it to protect any business interest, the only ones you're protecting are the alcohol distributors, and they're assholes. I've been in the alcohol game in the state of Tennessee for 25 years. And one of the first things I learned when I got in the bar business was, you are fucked. You have no option. If you want a product to sell in your restaurant or bar, you have one option. And if you have a problem with them or they're not treating you well, too bad. So if you want Jack Daniels, you have to deal with D&V. If the sales rep's a fat piece of shit that doesn't care about you and doesn't put any effort into trying to make sure that you're getting product, just shows up on a Tuesday and says, what do you need? And then walks right out the door. That's how you get Jack Daniels in Knoxville. And if you would like better service from them, too bad. You have no options, and that sucks. Also, quietly, they've doubled the license fee or more. Retail license is now $1,000. It was only $500 per location. They've added a wholesale tax, meaning that when a distributor picks it up, they have to pay the state of Tennessee a wholesale tax, which then gets included into the price when the retailer buys it.
Right.
So if a $10 product, it comes in as a $10 product to, I'm just going to keep picking on D&V, comes in as a $10 product to D&V. As soon as D&V gets it, they pay I don't know, I think it's a 6%, or maybe it's a fixed number. I can't remember what it is per unit tax to the state of Tennessee. So that $10 product that D&V was going to mark up to $15 is now theoretically costing D&V $12, so they're going to mark it up to $18. And then it's going to come to my store, and I'm going to put it on my shelf, and you're going to pay 15 and some change percent sales tax on that new retail number because I have to mark it up to do what I do.
Right.
And so, fuck tariffs. Tariffs aren't even part of the conversation here. These are for the most part, this is a domestic product. But so, the one good domestic product that wasn't going to be affected by tariffs, it's going to get, basically we have an import tariff for the state of Tennessee now would be a way to look at it if you want to. So anyway, I don't know. There's still, I guess, still got a lot of figuring out to do.
It'd be an intrastate tariff.
It's gonna suck. It is gonna suck for consumers. It's gonna suck for me. It's gonna suck for consumers. It's great for distributors that are already here. It's one of the questions I have too is because basically I have to get a liquor license now, which sucks. Getting a liquor license is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
There is no, as I've read through the bill, there is no specification. This is ABC gets to promulgate the rules. Well, in the state of Tennessee, you're only allowed to hold 2 liquor licenses for off-premise, which is what we call a package store or a liquor store. If your name is on record as part owner in any percentage, if you own 1% or 99%, you're only allowed to own 2 liquor stores. Or you're only allowed to own 2 businesses that have an off-premise liquor license.
Gotcha.
To clarify that statement. Which big motherfucker out in Turkey Creek, Total Wine, has been lobbying since they entered Tennessee to change that. Because Total Wine, per the law of the state of Tennessee, there are only 2 Total Wines in the state of Tennessee. One in Nashville, one in Knoxville. They want to have 4 in Knoxville, which is going to destroy the mom and pop liquor stores.
Yeah.
And they've been actively lobbying the state to fix that. So maybe, 30 partner, I can be on board with Total Wine because right now, if that same rules applies to hemp, I have to shut a store down right now. Well, not right now, but as soon as this takes effect.
Have they said it's going to be an identical license? I would think they would split it up.
It's super. Well, there's no clarity to it. Right. After I talked to Briggs about a month ago, I emailed him. I was like, so if this is going to go to ABC and it's going to be a liquor license, is it the same? Do the same rules apply to the current liquor license? This, that, and the other. Which his response is, well, I don't know until it's done. Well, that's what my email was yesterday to him. It's like, well, now it's done.
Right.
Tell me what it is.
Here's a PDF of it if you want to read for yourself.
Right, but again, it's like one of the most significant phrases that I was taught this year in politics and governance when Jennifer Owen was here,
right,
was that promulgates the rules phrase. That's all over all these bills. It's where they're handing the specific Department of Agriculture, you figure out exactly what this means. We're just going to write this broad stroke bill and you figure out the specifics.
Right.
Which, in turn, has opened door for gray area and lawsuits and stuff like that, which has helped in some cases, but it hurts in others because I don't know what the fuck to expect. Because I don't know where ABC is on this. Like, a lot of big liquor hates hemp industry in Tennessee,
right,
or probably nationally for that matter.
Right.
People aren't buying as much Jack Daniels because they're getting high all the time.
Right.
It's like, oh, yeah, that's terrible, Jack Daniels. Maybe get your county to be one place you can start buying Jack Daniels, and it might be a little better off for you. Maybe leave us alone that have found other things that we want to get intoxicated on. But Jack doesn't like it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if just because Jack Daniels says so, D&V doesn't carry any hemp products.
It's possible.
Actually, that's not true. D&V carries Breeze. If you've seen that, it's a hemp mushroom blend beverage.
Nope.
So I take that. I rescind that statement because I know for a fact that is not true. D&V already does have a very minor hemp catalog.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've seen it a couple times in committees where they'll have someone from legal there. They'll kind of, I guess they go off record for the moment, where they can actually talk to legal and kind of ask questions of how would this work, or if this bill passes.
Should be like I feel like that's appropriate.
Yeah,
but I don't understand why it's off record. I mean, like when you go to city council, they do that all the time. Go to city council meeting and.
Well, it's off the record, but I guess they go out of committee for a moment. Basically, they're not doing like committee time where they're. I guess people can only speak for a certain amount of time. I guess they kind of go out of session for a second, just to like talk to legal.
But like when I was down there,
I think it puts it in a more informal setting to where I think before that, you kind of have to be like
this
recognized.
person gets to talk, that person gets to talk, and it's whatever. Where we can just be like, hey, let me clarify, because I mean, like when I was doing mine, Tommy asked directly to the city's law director,
right,
who's in the meeting, and he says, are we still allowed to do this, or does this change our ability to do that?
Yeah.
And he's like, as I understand it, I think you still get to the city council / beer board, which is because it's the same members in both, would still have oversight on X, Y, and Z, which was Tommy's question. But they should, they need to,
right?
Except when you have an asshat like Buch, who uses his legal interpretation politically, because he'll say, I'm not sure that that's legal or not, because he doesn't like what you're asking, not because that's actually the legal interpretation of what's in front of him. He has done that on a number of occasions, or he's been accused of that. Let me soften my phrasing for my legal protections. Allegedly has avoided questions or been inarticulate with his answering because he didn't like what it was asking for. Like, does the county have an obligation to do this by law? He would say yes, even though it's kind of like,
right.
Because he wants the yes.
Well, that's law. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of things go to courts.
But an interpretation on how you understand the law and an interpretation on how you want to understand the law aren't the same thing.
I don't know if he wants to get like caught in saying something. If the bill does go up to a circuit court or whatever, to a higher court to get overturned by the state Supreme Court or whatever. I guess maybe you don't want to get caught saying that, like the law director said this was legal.
His job is to argue on behalf of.
Right.
And so if it does hit some gray area, it should be, I can see where I can make the argument that this is within state law or whatever the particular is.
Right.
His job is to advocate and lawyer on behalf of the county commission. His job isn't to tell the county commission what they can and can't do. It's I
guess tell what they can and can't do legal wise.
Right. He could say that no, that is explicitly against state law.
Right.
But he should be looking for, is there a way that I could defend this if you guys do it? That would be my interpretation of the task that is set before him. Yeah. But then it's odd.
You're right, yeah.
But then it's odd to me that he's an elected position in the first place. Because if you're elected, then you're automatically a politician. If you're a politician, then your politics are part of your job. And I don't know what happens when you have a couple of Democrats on county commission, like we do, who are wanting to put a thing together, and the Republican law director politically doesn't want them to succeed, he's going to interpret it in the political way that betters his party, which, as we know here in Tennessee, anytime you can shit on a Democrat, you're going to do it if you're a Republican in Tennessee.
It's not untrue.
So anyway, I don't know. I'm scared right now. I'm like honest bottom line number 1A. I like this is huge. This is this. If the grossest version of what I'm afraid this is going to be happens, it's at least 6 people who I'm laying off first of the year.
Yeah.
If that's the timeline, I'm dropping 6 employees, maybe 7, and I'm going to go back to working full time in the shop to save that payroll money.
Yeah.
And that sucks. And it does. And I just thought of this just now. I may have to drop insurance as an option for my staff, because if we go down, I think if we get under, if we have under 10 enrolled employees, the rate goes way up.
Right.
And some of the employees that I'm going to have to lay off are ones that are in the insurance program, and we're at 11 right now. And so if I lay off 2 people whom are insurance people, I'm now under that threshold, and it may be unaffordable for us to continue, especially with a huge loss in sales,
Right.
to continue to help pay for health insurance for my staff. So good job, Briggs. You're going to have to, I don't know, whatever. It's just, I just don't, like, I can't, I still don't, and I wish you were here with me when I was talking to him, because I wish you would have sat next to me and handed me the piece of paper that said, ask him who asked him to do this. Because I didn't get to that. I wish I had, because it's a valid question. Like, why are you doing this? And which I did sort of ask. He does kind of say, at least on the THCA ban, he thinks his interpretation is that it's already illegal anyway. And so he's like, it's illegal anyway. That's kind of a secondary issue to the bill. His thing's more about getting ABC control. It's like, why do you want ABC control? ABC sucks. But I didn't ask that, and I didn't think about it at the time. I'm so much better in argument in post.
Maybe ag, once they got in the middle of it, were like, we don't want to do this. Like,
they suck at it. They're incapable. Like, he's not wrong. They're incapable. But the question, the argument to me is, do we need to have it? Do we need to have an oversight body? Does the state need to oversee the distribution and retail? Ag is perfectly capable of handling the grow side. That is within their wheelhouse. They've done it for decades, whether it's this product or others.
Right.
That's not a thing that's out of the wheelhouse of ag. Yeah, it's out of the wheelhouse for ag to go pop in on a retail shop to see if they're selling to underage kids. But hey, newsflash, ABC doesn't do it either. ABC reaches out to local law enforcement, and then local law enforcement does age stings.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission undercover sting operation with their own employees. It's always City of Knoxville KPD cadets. City of Knoxville hires with a parent. This is how crazy age restriction is in the state of Tennessee. So KPD goes out and hires a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old, who is not an officer, but hires a 19 or 20-year-old as a contract employee to go and buy.
So they took like cadets out of like the training academy.
They do a lot of cadets. Normally they do cadets.
Oh, okay.
But it explicitly states it in Senate Bill 1413. Mm-hmm. It says that they're allowed to hire, and I probably should pull it up to double check exactly the verbiage on it. They are allowed to hire a 20-year-old to go out and do stings. Okay, sounds reasonable. But if they're 18 or whatever, there's a parental consent part in the game. You're 20 years old, but you have to ask your mom if you can go do work for the police department.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy to me. So yeah, I need to pull that up. I'll pull that up. I'll try to pull that up while we're doing other stuff. See if to get that verbiage right.
Oh yeah, no.
I take your word for it.
I mean, no, but I want to remember the verbiage because I thought it was very confusing. On it's too deep in here. I don't want to pull it up.
Yeah, I was about to say it's probably going to take you a minute just to find it.
I mean, I've tried to read this thing like 3 times, and of course, I can't figure it out.
Right.
I mean, but again, at the end of the day, as I understand it, if they get everything that they're wanting to get out of this, at the end of the day, you consumer are going to pay more for gummies. You're going to pay more for edibles, drinks, all that kind of stuff that's in play. And all of your inhalable THC products are done, at least the ones that are worth getting. Not to, but I mean, let's be real. Somebody's going to do some chemist is going to go play games, and we're going to have some THC 8974B that's going to get you fucked up, and it's also going to kill you, but it's going to get on the market because it goes around this law. Instead of letting us have the one that everybody wants that is naturally occurring, which Briggs argued on the floor that it isn't. Instead of letting us have that one, we're going to have some synthetic crazy shit come out that is going to hurt people, but it's going to circumvent the way this law is written, and that's where we are.
We need to light a fire under Becky's bottom. Be like, hey, what's going on with your medical bill? Actually, it'd be a good thing to ask her about, because didn't they start the study like 2 years ago or so?
Yep. Well, that's one of the other big questions in this bill. Like, this basically criminalizes possession in the state of Tennessee of any.
Oh, okay.
And so for Becky, who was trying to get a bill passed where you could go to Illinois or you could go to Virginia or one of these nearby medical states, if you have a prescription and documentation, you can go and bring it in, and you're not going to be charged with possession as long as you have the documentation that proves that you, quote, need it for medical reasons.
All right. I was thinking more, I thought they started some kind of like committee to start researching
Yeah,
I guess the possibility of medical, just because they were seeing it happen in the states around us. So,
I mean, but she like her bill a couple of years ago was legitimately like, if you have a prescription from your doctor, you can go out of state and bring it back.
okay,
You can't buy it here, but you can have it here if you have medical need.
yeah,
But as far as I understand it, from talking to some different people that understand this language better than I do, nope, doesn't matter. You're full-on leukemia patient, deep into chemo treatment and all that kind of shit. And like my dad, who, well, he can still get his gummies, so he's, I guess, okay. But like I've got plenty of people who just don't, like, eating it doesn't get them there.
right.
And so they at least theoretically would have the option, if this bill didn't write the way the bill writes, go up to Kentucky, get it, and come home, and they can have it at home as long as they have paperwork to say they can have it. Nope. Knox County Sheriff's Office can kick down your door, maybe shoot you, and get you and get you on possession.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to drive to Kentucky to fucking get it, you're not going to get a fucking gram. You know, you're going to buy some volume if you're going to take the effort to go do it.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
So no, I think Colorado had a limit for like in-state and out-of-state, just because they were obviously having a lot of out-of-state people come in.
I don't know if you could try, I guess. I don't know. It's crazy. It's just.
I think legal states
sense.
do that. I think they limit the amount that you can like buy per month or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how exactly they do it, but like they try to put some kind of limit as to how. Well, maybe it's more a limit of what you can have at a time.
Right.
Like I think I've seen language in laws to where you can only have so much dry flour on hand, so much concentrates, like basically at your house in possession of.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so moving on from that, I don't want to dwell on it because it makes me anxious because it's bad. It's going to be bad for me. It's going to be bad for everybody. It's not going to be good for anybody. It's just going to be bad for a lot of people. It's going to be bad for a lot of business, and it's going to be bad for a lot of individuals. So anyway, I don't know what else is going on. We had some baseball started this week. That was a big to do.
Did we win?
We won game 1 and then got the shit kicked out of us in game 2.
Huh. We're playing the same team, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 5-game homestand with the Lookouts from Chattanooga. And so it's they're playing right now. Probably just about to finish up game 4-3. And then they play on Easter Sunday, which I was kind of surprised at. It's Easter Sunday day game.
I didn't click on the article. I think I mentioned it last week, but I think it was one of the local news stations that I guess tried to time themselves of how long it took to, I guess, park or either get out of parking.
Oh yeah, that's a question I asked. Scott went to opening night for his press reasons and was talking about it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'd asked him, I was like, "How was parking?" He's like, "I was there so early, I don't know if it counts." Yeah. Tonight's the test to me, realistically. Like, if you want to talk about it tonight, and tomorrow, that's the test. Like a Tuesday night, what else is going on? Bijou, Tennessee Theater does whatever it does whenever it does it. I think if we went and saw, last time I went to Tennessee, I saw Ben Folds there. I think that was on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Because that's how Knoxville works. So a lot of the names that are that come through town they're in Atlanta, they're in Nashville, they're in Charlotte on Friday or Saturday night.
Right.
They're here on Tuesday, Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But that's starting to change. We're starting to have bigger acts on bigger days of the week and stuff like that. And so, tonight's the night where you've got just normal Friday night in Market Square, normal Friday night in the Old City, probably something going on at the Civic, probably something going on at Tennessee Theater. Mill and Mine might have a concert tonight. This is the test of parking when you have a full slate of normal weekend activities.
The Mill and Mine's opposite side, right?
Huh?
Isn't Mill and Mine the opposite side, away from the stadium?
I mean, it's just north of the Old City.
Okay.
Like if you're going through, so Central is the north-south through the Old City.
Yeah.
You go over the train tracks, so Melting Pot on the left. Go over the train tracks.
Yeah, I know where Mill and Mine is.
Right, and then so it's not, but I mean that's.
I guess I keep thinking of the stadium as being kind of close to, like, further down Barley on Central.
It is on Jackson.
Okay, yeah, Jackson.
It's just under the interstate, not 40, but
James White there.
James White. It's just under it. So Barley's ends. So Barley's was the end of the Old City, and then you had the overpass, and the stadium's just on the other side.
I would think of that as a decent bit away from where I'm thinking of.
I mean, the parking plan set up is there's Market Square parking has shuttles that go from the Market Square parking garage, not the Market Square parking garage, the Summer Place parking garage, and one other one that's just northwest of Market Square. Two of those parking garages are the shuttle garages where if you have a ticket, you can pre-order with your ticket. You can, as an add-on for $5, you can get a parking pass for one of those two garages and hop on a trolley down.
Not bad.
What I'm saying, that's way further than Mill and Mine is.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can't buy the parking pass without a ticket to the game. And so it's only baseball fans that get to use those parking garages on game days. But point being is Mill and Mine shares parking with everything else that's down there.
Sure.
And so if Mill and Mine's got a concert tonight or a wedding or whatever they're doing tonight, people that are going to the baseball game they're all in the same parking areas.
I'm trying to think. When I went to the Mill and Mine, I can't even remember where I parked. I guess I found somewhere around it. I think maybe a couple side streets away.
I don't remember where we parked. Well, underneath,
there's a couple bars around that as well.
Well, right underneath 40 there, underneath 40, there's 3 parking lots that are under 40 proper.
I think that's where I ended up parking.
And I think I parked there for the last
There's a
time.
big kind of there's a big gate that goes around one of them.
Right. But still, I mean, I guarantee you on Tuesday, on opening night, those parking lots underneath 40 were full.
Yeah.
And so this is the test. This will be the conversation. This will be the getting out on the socials and seeing people upset about, I had to park on campus and hitchhike my way over to Mill and Mine for the concert because all the stupid baseball parking.
I guess my buddy had a pickup truck. We had to ride all the way in. Then he had to go back and park.
To me, this is the test. Tuesday isn't the test. Now, Scott had a valid point. Tuesday was probably the single best attended game that they'll have this year.
Did they sell out, or did they say?
I think 6,000-ish was the total. 5,500 was the official number.
Yeah.
But it also, Scott said, it was pretty clear that there were a lot of people that didn't have tickets that they let in the door anyway to fill it up. And so there were 5,500 tickets sold. There was probably 8,000 people on site.
Not bad.
Capacity 75, so yeah, they did very well. Now FC1, on the other hand, they're trying to set a USL Series 1, whatever their little subdivision of the United Soccer League.
Yeah.
They've already sold 4,000 tickets to their opener on the 26th.
Wow.
If they can break 6,000, they will set the league record.
Nice.
For highest attended game.
That'd be cool.
And I didn't realize this until one of the promos they're doing is it's a buy one get one. You buy one for the home game for the home opener, and you get one to their ladies squad. So One Knoxville has a ladies team, and there's a ladies league that they play in, and I guess they're playing on the same field.
That was a pretty cool marketing thing they did with the quarterback that I guess didn't show up to practice.
They got in trouble for that. Nico, big old Nico mess.
The Knoxville one got in trouble for it?
Oh no, sorry, the Smokies did because the The Smokies made a joke about it too.
Oh. But no, I guess like the Knoxville one was trading
a
in.
Jersey swap, yeah. I heard about that one too. You're right. I was conflated too. Yeah, the Smokies had done a post. Well, I guess we're going to rescind our invitation for him to throw out the first pitch.
Yeah.
To one of the games in this cycle, which was never scheduled in the first place. It was just a joke.
He said, "I'm gonna leave you guys later."
Yeah, I've heard some different takes on the topic.
Yeah, somebody was trying to tell me that it was some kind of system that I wasn't even familiar with, and was getting talked down to because I didn't know this particular system. But that's why he couldn't thrive or whatever. And I'm like,
maybe who cares?
I was like, still doesn't make sense to me.
It really doesn't matter. Like the end of the day is this is college football now.
Yeah,
you know.
I was glad they agreed with me that the whole NIL thing is probably going to be the ruin of kind of traditional college football.
Yeah, I guess if you throw that traditional phrase in the middle there, I think there's. I have no problem with what he did, per se. I think it's like the timing was a problem, and I think that's one of the things that is in the rules that's kind of wonky. Is when you're allowed to enter the portal and some of the rules on portal stuff, like to go into. It's literally the spring game. Like
right.
The weekend of the spring game, you quit the team. That's kind of sucky. I mean, there's some one of the biggest problems I have with college football is the coaching rules. Like, and pro ball does the same thing. Actually, for that matter, like if you're like, who was it? I can't remember who it was. It was a coach of Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Bearcats, probably about a decade ago. Cincinnati has always had a decent football team, but they've never been a top tier team. But they made it to a big bowl game back in the old series of bowl games. I think it was like bowl game 5. Like you had the 3 or 4 big games, and they were like right there on the doorstep. Huge for their university, huge for all this stuff. And between the last game of the season or the last game of or their conference championship game or whatever it is, that coach got hired by a different school, and he's out. And so that window between the end of the season and the bowl game, he got hired and got a new job, and they had an interim coach, and they had to do all this thing, and they got the shit kicked out of him in that bowl game. Yeah. It was really sad for those players and stuff like that. It's like, the contract needs to be you finish the fucking season.
Right.
You finish the season, and if the season includes postseason, then you finish the postseason. And I think that's one of the problems with the NFL too. One of the problems the NFL has is like there's this big, there's these big pitch and fits about we don't have enough black coaches in football. It's like, well, some of the best black coaches that should be hired to be head coaches are offensive and defensive coordinators for teams that are going deep in the playoffs. And those organizations won't I think it's the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs has been talked about as should be the next head coach of an NFL team for like 4 years in a row. But they're in the middle of the playoffs. He's not going out taking interviews. He's doing the playoff things. And so these other teams that aren't in the playoffs that are trying to find a new head coach, they're not going to wait for the playoffs to end to then go battle with these other teams to try to hire them. They're going to hire the best available at the time.
Right.
And it's screwing that coach from getting a chance of being a head coach, but it's also screwing these other teams because they can't get the coach they want. And it's like maybe the rule should be hiring is not allowed until the season ends, and that includes postseason. It's one of those little isms of the backroom of sports that bothers me.
Yeah, because it kind of helps you retain if you had a coach that you wanted to kind of hold on to.
Yeah, I mean it's not fair to the coach. It's not fair to the other teams in the league. The only people it benefits is the team that get to keep their great coaches because all the other teams have already done their hiring by the time they win or lose the Super Bowl.
It's like, oh, you're thinking about going somewhere else? Oh, it sucks. It's kind of too late, isn't it? Well, we'll see you next season.
I mean,
under a smaller contract.
Yeah, I mean, I do. To be fair, like it's not to imply that the Chiefs don't pay them and pay them the dollars and respect they deserve for how good they are. It's just, it's just a timing thing, and it's not. It's just like that. This is something that could be a simple fix in the game. It's like as soon as the regular season ends, coaching interviews are not allowed until the day after the Monday after the Super Bowl. Just make that rule. Like you can't stop people from talking to each other and stuff like that.
That's still going to happen. Yeah,
but you cannot new contract proposals and new contracts are not permitted for coaches in this window of time. I think that's it's a doable thing.
I like it.
And I think college ball should have the same thing. Like if from the NCAA, from the top of college football, if you are a coach, once the regular season ends, so the day of your last regular season game till the end of the college football playoff, so first week in January, there is a coaching hire freeze. You're not allowed to hire a coach in that window. You can talk to some if you want to. You can agree in terms, but you can't put it on paper until the end of the end of the postseason, because it screws these kids. But I guess at the same time, these kids are screwing these coaches. So yeah. But I mean, I think these kids should get paid. Like I think the NIL part of it is the dirtiest version of paying these kids.
Yeah, somebody was saying that it's like why Saban got out of college, and he was like, I guess he was against the NIL. He was like, this is going to ruin it. He's like, I guess I'm going to leave this shit.
I mean, he was getting pretty long in the tooth, if you will, for a coach to boot. But
I mean who was the Notre Dame guy that was probably like 10, 15 years old? Lou Holtz, yeah.
Well, Lou Holtz went through forever. Yeah, I mean, it's doable, but I'm just saying, like,
he was still winning.
There's a line somewhere where you're like, I'm getting a little too old for this, and I'm certainly getting too old for this with this new bullshit on board.
Didn't he go to a pro team?
Saban?
Yeah, I thought he was doing something else.
He was at the. He did it. He did the. I think he was on the Falcons. He was the Falcons coach, and he did them dirty like in the middle. Like he Lane Kiffin the Falcons to go to Alabama.
Just bounced out on the tour bus.
Yeah, he just disappeared.
Bye.
He just disappeared one night and showed up in Tuscaloosa. I think that was Saban. I don't remember. No,
I don't know.
It was, but it was somebody that did that. I know it was the Falcons that they were just like deuces.
Yeah.
I mean, and like you see that a lot. There's a significant difference. This is a stupid sports thing that's probably not that important to talk about. But you see that a lot in. There is a huge difference. Like when Spurrier tried to go coach pro ball,
right?
Like there's a huge difference, and maybe that difference has shrunk now with some of the stuff that's going on with NILs and stuff like that. But there's a huge difference in coaching college and coaching pro ball, and the main thing is how you get players. Like college ball, if you're a recruiter, if you can recruit, you can have a good football team. Pro ball recruiting is not a conversation at all. That's the general manager out there hiring employees,
right?
Not talking people to come in and work.
Here's your team, make it work.
Right. This is the team that we can afford.
Right.
Get to work.
Don't let them get injured.
And so I don't know. That's our sports section. Everybody, you're welcome.
Yeah.
But Biggs is the story of the week, though. This is the one. Ooh. Comptroller, I want you tell me you've dug deep into the story. The Tennessee comptroller is in Knoxville, poking around with our trustee.
I don't think I saw that story.
Oh my God!
Is it local?
Yeah, Biggs is the Knox County trustee. He is under investigation by the state of Tennessee comptroller. Your boy, whatever that guy's name is. I can't believe you don't know the story. Like, this is everything and how much you talk about the comptroller all the time.
I hadn't seen the story. I may have read the story, but I thought maybe they were looking at somebody else, but I may have glanced by that story.
Very, right now, open records doesn't apply to ongoing whatever the crap from the comptroller's office. And so essentially, the rumor part of it from from News Sentinel, and they're reporting on it, is just misuse of tax funds, basically. Overspending on travel, like staying in luxury hotels instead of generic hotels.
Okay, I think I did see that story.
And then apparently the trustee's office leased a handful of very, very nice four-wheel drive pickup trucks instead of cheap ones. That's the two things that are kind of out there. Some of these trucks were being used on the weekends. One of these trucks left the state of Tennessee at one point. Knox News got the GPS data for these trucks.
Nice.
And it's like, why would a Knox County trustee's truck leave the state?
Yeah.
Where is it going out of state? What county business is in whatever state it's going to? So that's what we know so far.
Oh my God.
I've always gotten kind of the slimy feel out of Biggs. He feels kind of slimy to me, but got nothing to that other than
feelings.
And the trustee's office is a cush gig anyway, so why would you fuck around with that? Like, it's a six-figure. I think it's $170,000 a year or something like that.
There's times where people either do something small and they look around and they're like, oh, I don't think anybody saw that, and it just kind of gets more bold and bold.
Yeah, but or
if you're the one that's only looking at the books, maybe you get that
Yeah.
false degree of confidence. And like, oh, well, they'll trust me. And, I've been in this position. I'm the trustee, so they got to trust me.
I need to drive to Kentucky to go buy some weed because I can't buy it in Tennessee anymore. And my car won't get me there, so let me borrow my office car.
Does Kentucky have medicinal?
Yeah. So, I don't remember exactly what Kentucky's got in place.
I remember reading before, I think they were one of the states that outlawed Delta 8 when it first sort of came around. That might have been because they had medicinal or something. Well, I don't know.
Right. I don't want to get... No. Give me something else. I don't get back in there. I mean, the big story... It's proper good old-fashioned, scandal, corruption on the small local government level. It's happened a million times.
I've seen a few different stories of...
He's already started his re-election process, so that's going to be interesting.
I've seen a few different stories of... I want to say it's like the fire departments that have been caught, like, fucking with funds in surrounding counties.
Don't know.
The smaller counties get that good old boy network. And
who's gonna say anything? We're all friends,
right?
Don't tell anybody. Like, apparently, that's the thing about the big thing, though, is that started as a Knox County internal audit, and whoever the internal auditors from, I guess that's an assignment from the county commission. Whoever the internal auditors were thought there was enough to send it to the comptroller for a further investigation.
I mean, it's one of those things you want to make sure you got all your ducks in a row if you're about to kick that upstairs.
Yeah,
if you're about to draw somebody's name into possible allegations,
right? There is some there,
right?
Like there's some smoke. What the fire actually is, we don't know yet, but there's some smoke, and we're gonna find. Hopefully, we're gonna find out sooner than later.
Some of these things take like 6 months to a year, but I don't know.
Stuart Hull told him he needs to quit. He needs to recruit. He needs to quit. This is a trusted position, and we should be held to a higher standard. You'd like Stuart. I need to get Stuart in here. He's the new Matt.
He's the new Matt.
He's the new Matt Shears. He's no Matt Shears. Matt Shears is still probably one of my favorite figures I've gotten to meet through all this.
I saw the office for the, I guess, Anderson County Democratic Party a couple days ago.
Oh, like you physically saw it driving by or something?
Yeah, I just saw the front of the office.
No, I don't know if we have. I don't know if Knox Dems even has a building anymore. Usually they like rent one during season and then they just do a temporary rental for like 4 months during election season and then they.
That sounds like that'd be more economically feasible.
I don't know. In Knox County, where you've got a decent population of Democrats that should be active all the time, you'd think there'd be a little more stuff going on. But I don't know.
Maybe. Do all that stuff from home, just over Zoom and all that other stuff.
Yeah. You don't have the funds in play per se to quote waste money on that thing. So I can see your take on it. Volume check. But the I'm trying to think what else is going on that I wanted to touch on. We can go back to the 23andMe. We've been dancing around, not having that conversation. You don't think it's as big a conversation as I do, I think. I think it's a huge fucking deal.
I mean, it's a huge privacy issue, but I guess I didn't really see it being a prolonged conversation. I don't know a whole lot about it.
I don't know if it's a prolonged conversation either. I guess I just think it's crazy. Like it was a foreseeable outcome.
Yeah, because I think there's a few different companies that kind of popped up.
Yeah, because 23andMe wasn't the first; they were like second or third. I mean, Ancestry bought. Who was the first one? It's gonna drive me crazy now.
I thought 23andMe was kind of early on, but I don't know.
Yeah, Ancestry bought one of them, which is still the same. I mean, that's the same idea. It's like this is a company. This is a regular business that you're giving all this stuff to. They're going to get bought and sold in any time of the week, and somebody else now has access to all that stuff. I don't know. I never did it. I'm glad I never did it. I thought about it. There was a moment where I was thinking about it. I'm curious how much Viking is I actually am, or if it's just my beard grows fun. So I assume I am.
It is interesting they were able to kind of go that far back and kind of pinpoint of like where certain like DNA strands they found predominations of in different parts of the world.
Yeah, but I mean it's that same little like I just have my gut reaction is always like I'd be interesting and fun to know, but I'd rather somebody else doesn't know it.
Yeah, I was.
You know what I mean? Like, I can, like, if there's a way to do it where I knew it and nobody else knew it, okay, I'd do it in a heartbeat. But to be knowingly giving that data out for anybody who, because, like, same thing, it's like with the Ring doorbells and stuff like that. Like, that makes me uncomfortable. Like, I get the premise of it. I mean, we use it for our business. I use Ring doorbells at our business. I can go and log in right now and watch what's going on in my stores using one of these, you know, over-the-counter surveillance systems, basically, that we have now.
Right.
But I, like, you know, maybe I shouldn't say it, but I don't do that at my house. I don't like the idea because whose property is it? Like, that's the thing to me. It's like the recording of the video of my doorbell, or the one that I put in my kitchen, or like people put them in their houses too,
right?
So they can watch their dogs while they're gone or whatever. It's fucking weirdos. You know, who owns that video? Do I have a right to privacy in my home if I am essentially broadcasting that to a third party?
It goes to a cloud, and then from there, I'm not really sure.
But I mean,
as far as privacy rights, as accessibility,
and you know, for the sake of telling you something you already know, what is a cloud? It's a hard drive somewhere else,
right?
You know, it's not in the cloud. It's
at a data farm somewhere,
right? It's some building that's just got a million hard drives in it with a million bytes of data, and that includes all your stuff.
Chugging gallons of water and a shit ton of electricity,
right? But who owns that building? Does the person that owns the building and pays the electrical bill, it pays and pays for the cooling and heating and all the different other stuff? Do they own what's in their building? Does the data that the things that are in their building include? Is that included on the list of things they own? Because there's stories, at least, of like police departments reaching out to Amazon for Ring doorbell data, and Amazon handing it over with no consideration for where that came from.
I thought there was talk of that in kind of like the new kind of KPD system. They made it kind of sound like it was voluntary, but this may be a separate thing.
Well, right. The way the KPD system is alleges to be is that it is not a cloud-based. It cannot use cloud-based services.
No, but I think they gave you an option to where you could, I guess, allow your front door camera, allow them access to use your street camera or whatever.
Right, but that's only that it the way it has been explained to me is it cannot be a cloud-based service for them to access it.
Huh.
If you have if you have a hard drive, if you have a old school for the attempt to explain it as I understand it,
a CCTV.
Right, if you like the old school, like, you know, Bodega has a you know, just a straight up VHS player under the counter that has tapes in it that's recording all the videos all the time.
Yeah.
If you have a system like that can be hooked up to the internet, KPD can get on board with it. But you have to have hard physical storage on site.
I thought they mentioned like the Ring cameras specifically and like doorbell cameras that you could allow them access. System? I thought so. I could be wrong, but
I've been trying to think of an excuse to talk to after Holaroo, and I paid KBD a bunch of money to do Holaroo. I'll see if I can get Noel on, and we'll talk about it. Because I do want to talk about it. I really do, and I told him I did last time I talked. Well, not last time I talked to him, but a couple times ago when I talked to him.
Yeah.
Last time I talked to him, I tried to get him to come on Scott's show, not mine, because he doesn't particularly care for. He listens to every episode of Compass Points, but he does not particularly care for the Scott solo shows. They're a little slow for him, and so it's like, well, it'd be a little bit more exciting and fun if you were there. That's what I told him. I was like, I got a solution to your problem.
You can liven up.
And I was like, I got a solution to your problem. Come over to my house, sit in with me and Scott. We'll have a good time.
Yeah.
And then while you're here, just, you know, we'll get Scott out of there and we'll do my show and we'll have a real good time.
Okay, we'll give you a monthly spot. Or bi-monthly spot.
I'll just have to get rid of all my weed before he gets here, so. See if I can't, maybe I'll dose him while he's here. That'd be fun. I think that'd go.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain how hard he just like rolled his eyes at me to listeners. Like, I feel like you might have hurt yourself. Are you okay? Your eyeballs all right with that one?
Sometimes.
I feel like you might have stretched a muscle a little bit further than it wants to go. That flinch eye roll you just gave me was rough.
See, I guess they're proposing raising school lunch fees by like 25 cents or 50 cents. And parents are a little upset about that.
I mean, we're going to lose federal funding anyway, so who knows? School budget did come out this week. $700.5 million.
Woo.
It's up 20-something million from last year, and all of that's going to staff. Wow. And this is interesting. I need to email Jennifer because she'll at least give me an answer whether it's the truth or not. Over the last 2 years, Knox County School has lost right at 600 students, which is interesting. Like, it's a very interesting number because
Do they break it down at all as far as they know that those students went out of state?
Not that I've heard any details on.
But that's a gross plus minus. They've been minus 600.
Yes.
Okay.
So, like, literally, like, it was 557. Like, we're this year, their estimates for the 25-26 year is 57,000 something. And in 2023, the 2023-2024 school year was for the sake of conversation. The 23-24 school year was 57,612. They're estimating 57,000.
That you remember that specific number.
I'm creating specifics.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, damn. I was like, your memory's good.
No, I'm just creating specifics off of. I mean, they're close. It's rough numbers, but
right.
But like if this year the 25-26 school year estimate is 57,000 flat, in 2023-24 cycle it was 57.6, and which raises a lot of questions because like the 23-24 school year, the population in Knox County was way more than 1% less than it is now. Like if that's a 1% drop in student body, the population has grown more than 1% in that same.
Just less families moving in.
Right, maybe. I mean, that's good. It'd be a very interesting.
Millennials graduating. I know like birth rate's been slightly on the decline. I don't know when that kind of catches up to, I guess, our recent school year ages.
You make very valid points on a number of issues there. Are there less kids? Right. Having less kids over the period of time is what quote unquote would be the kindergarten class a good chunk. We graduated 600 students, but we're only adding 400 in the next cycle.
Yeah.
Comparatively, that would constitute some of the number.
So you're looking at 1% change, basically. You were talking about
600 out of 60,000.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot though, because I mean, you think $7,000. The state's going to kick $7,000 a year in per student, right? For the
supposedly
for the voucher,
right? Yeah, I sent you that one article about another state. Like I said, I don't know how long they've been doing the vouchers, but I guess this year their budget, they were like, okay, well, we're going to give private schools twice as much as we give public schools. I mean, I think I was like, I hope that's not in our future.
Fast math, that's $420,000. That's $500,000.
Good question.
In state funding that isn't coming to Knox County because of student body change over 2 years.
Yeah.
So, and the state law is about state law by 26-27 school year will require starting salary to be $50,000 a year for a teacher. So that's 10 teachers that we can't afford with the loss of that many students. So I don't know. There's going to be significant. I mean, it's already showing. It's whether it's a voucher issue or not, we don't know.
True.
Like I don't know, because I don't know that there's any projection for how many students Knox County is going to lose to the voucher program. Because again,
it all depends on, I guess, how they pick the applications.
But I mean, again, even if they do it fairly, I think the math says Knox County will have 20 students or less that aren't already in public schools get a voucher and leave. Like it's a very small number, but still, 20 students and $7,000 a student, it's $50,000. That's one teacher full time. So I don't know. We shall see. What else you got over there?
Let's see here. Got a local developer opens 96 affordable housing units. I wonder, there was a story I read a week or two
Read that
ago.
headline again? You rolled through that way too fast for me.
Sorry. Developer opens 96 affordable housing units in Knoxville. Plans to open more this year.
Nice.
Sorry, then I went into there was a story I saw I think, a couple of weeks ago, and I want to say it was a local 19-year-old kid that was, I guess, somehow getting into the developer and was, I'm wondering if it's the same thing, but was opening up some kind of housing unit for affordable housing, and kind of had the same idea that he plans to open up more. Thought it was quite admirable. I'm like, damn, there's some 19-year-old that's got his shit together that's getting into land development and actually doing it in a equitable way.
All right, get on it. Get after it, son. I like it.
Yeah.
It's fun. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to be distracted, but there's somebody selling tickets to the baseball game tonight at $150 a piece. I ain't paying $150 to see the Smokies. I ain't paying $300 for me and you to see the Smokies. That's fucking nutso.
No, but you put that stuff out there hoping somebody will do it. Or
I
can't do 150, but I'll do 125. And they're like, you're still a sucker.
It's marked as sold.
Well, damn. That's what I was about to say. There's always somebody. I mean, I overpaid for a concert we went to see in Asheville. Just because I bought tickets.
I found their manager. You want me to see if I can get him to come to Knoxville?
That'd be cool. I don't know if they're touring anymore.
I'm trying to figure out if I can be a talent buyer or not. I want to be the talent buyer for the Smokies. Randy Boyd, give me a call.
Holla
Holla at your boy. I don't know what I'm doing, but I can figure it out. Promise you that. I can get you some rockin' concerts. Won't make any money. People will show up and we'll have a good time. Yeah, apparently, in my random internet searches and playing around, the not Tom York personally, but Adams for Peace, Johnny Greenwood, and
Nigel Godrich. Yeah, I think a producer's involved in that too. Or they're
no,
he's been there a long time.
Adams for Peace is Flea is the
bassist,
is the bassist or whatever. But no, Adams for Peace as a unit is represented by the same people as Johnny and the other guitar player,
Ed.
Yeah. So they're solo efforts, and then one of Ed's other projects is represented by this same group.
So the drummer did is some kind of solo stuff too.
Yeah, Phil, who cares?
And then Tom York has Smile, I think, as well as another name of the other group that he was doing.
Yeah, but they're also the same management group does Radiohead, Adams for Peace, Johnny and Ed, and then a whole bunch of this. They do Muse, they do Secret Rose, they have a huge fucking catalog of
probably that sounds like it.
All over the place too. Like they do comedians and other stuff.
Yeah, it's one of those things that once you get to a certain level, you start kind of rolling in more.
Yeah,
it's you're the one for that. Oh my god.
I mean, but I don't know. That's my assumption of the game of the talent buyer is you just got to have contacts with those companies and be like, hey, I got an event, I've got a venue. When your act is coming through town, if you want to bring them, if they're coming through the southeast, you tell me, and I'll see if we got a scheduled date and we can put them together.
Yeah,
kind of thing. If we're going to do a tour thing, or the one-offs, I guess, are probably the hard ones, where there's nothing around it. It's like getting, I'm trying to think of it. Like Hosier is one. They actually represent Hosier as well. Like Hosier's one is like I feel like that's an act that would be appropriate for that venue. He's big,
right?
But he's not so big that he would obligate Thompson,
right?
And so it's like that to be seen. But it's also the dude's Irish, lives in Ireland. I can't do a one-off where he's just going to come play. I couldn't, you can't do that. I mean, you could.
Unless you want to pay him.
You got to pay out the ass, and then the event can't make any money because you can't. You have to play the game of ticket price versus capacity versus talent costs and all that. I mean, that's the game you got to play, and so it's got to be like, well, when's Hosier coming to the States?
Exactly.
When he is, I've got these 3 dates available. Can we put him into one of these 3 dates? So I don't know. That's I don't know. It's just me playing around with the idea. I have no right to even have the conversation of you should hire me.
It's fun to think of.
It's fun. I would do it if they I would try.
Oh, totally.
I would gladly get fired and come on here and talk about how much of a dick Randy Boyd is for firing me for being bad at a job that I don't know how to do. It's not my fault I don't know how to do the job.
But again, it's a weird venue. Like, it's going to be a hard venue to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it's like outside is a big issue. Like, that's to me where I'm stuck on it. It's like trying to get somebody to do an outside of, like, unless you're doing like a big amphitheater like Hi-Fi Buys when Radiohead came to Atlanta, or when we saw him, where did we see him in Cleveland? Whatever that amphitheater was.
Blossom Music Center.
Yeah, but it's like 100. Like, what do you think? That's like 80,000 capacity.
I mean, the auditorium itself looked pretty big. And
right,
then,
but then you have the
and
whole field behind it.
field,
That's another 60,000 people or whatever.
I'd be pissed drunk at that one.
But I'm just saying, like, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, the concert isn't outside. Just half the audience is outside.
Exactly, yeah.
Hi-Fi Buys is the same way. It's like, that's not how the stadium's set up. It's going to be a mobile stage unit that comes on to the field.
Yeah. I wonder if our location helps or hurts kind of booking agents. I mean, we're not far from Nashville, not far from Atlanta. Asheville gets lots of things to like the orange peel and stuff. So you'd think we would kind of be like a mid-between in a tour, but
we were
it doesn't
talking
always
about that
seem to work
earlier.
like
That's
that.
where you get like a Wednesday show.
Right.
On their way from Nashville to Charlotte. They do a Wednesday show in Knoxville, a Thursday show in Asheville, and then Friday, Saturday in Charlotte.
Yeah. But occasionally I'll see like decent-sized acts, and I'm like, okay, so they played Bristol, Nashville, Chattanooga, but didn't come to Knoxville.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just scheduling, something else was going on here, or we just couldn't pull that person in, or
I mean,
they had a bad experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. I mean, the premise that it's regular tends to believe that there's somebody without the vision to try. That's my guess at it. Like if it was just like some did and some didn't, then I would say it's just a timing thing. It just didn't work right or whatever. But if it seems to be more often that they don't than they do, I think it's a Knoxville issue, and we got to figure out how to fix that. Like, Knoxville should be good enough to do fucking Friday night for a big band. I mean, I think the Foo Fighters ticket that I got and got refunded for the pandemic was, I think that was like a Wednesday at Thompson. I don't know. It's been a while. I could be.
Yeah, I want to say the big one I saw there was a weekday.
And so that's the question. It's like, what is because like Bridgestone is bigger. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I don't know. You can't sell out like I don't know. I get it. You'd rather sell out. You'd rather spend an extra day setting up and sell out Bridgestone than sell out Thompson and be in a hurry to get from A to B.
Maybe, yeah.
That makes sense. I don't know. I would like to see Knoxville. I want to do the Ashley Caps game. That's my goal. Ashley Caps got into this whole thing because he wanted people to come to him, so he didn't have to go to them.
And he made it work.
He did.
And excelled.
And now he got all old and eclectic, and it's not as cool as it used to be. I want to get him on board. I need to reach out to him. Like, I could actually legitimately reach out to him as a venue now. That's fun. Sort of. I'd like to get him, because apparently one of the things that I've heard rumor of, one of the things that he's always had an issue with in Big Ears is he's never had the venue to do a headliner for Big Ears. It's always like a multi-top show.
Right. Because they do it at multi-venue.
It's like 15, 20 different venues.
Right.
But, like he's apparently the idea is that you do this 15, 20 venue event, and then everything stops at all the different venues, and then you have one venue to do the master. And so everybody stops. Any of the other, you could do it as like an artist showcase where, like, throughout a big show, different people that were here for the other shows come and sit in with the whatever, but you
Like
still
Super
have,
Jam.
Right, you still have the main stage with the main act, and that main act does a whole big complex show that may or may not include different parts and pieces from everybody's show.
Yeah.
Which would be super cool. And Holler can fit it, but Holler can't do ticketed. That's the problem. It would have to be a free show, whether you have a wristband for big ears or not. You can't come into the holler. Or you're allowed to come into the holler because we can't deny public access because it's a street. So the game is, I need to talk the Baxter people into making that big fucking field into an amphitheater.
Yes. Hey, that's mine.
That spills out into the street. And so it's a half private, half public show.
I haven't eaten yet.
Is there an area that you could charge for parking around the holler to try to make some money on like a free outdoor show in that area?
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'd be
there's
something
ways
better than nothing.
There would be ways to get around. I mean, there'd be ways to get there. I mean, alcohol sales and merch sales, and there's ways to make money, but not in the volume. Like, I mean, you know, you have a 10,000 seat venue at $50 a seat.
Yeah.
You can make peanut butter and jelly.
Now you have a 10,000 seat venue that's free. Well, people spend $50 a piece.
What's that bread and jelly?
But if they do spend $50 a piece, that goes into the cost of the things that you're selling for $50 a piece. It's like the tickets are ticketing on a big show is kind of required. So let's figure it out. We'll work on it. I'm thinking about it. I'm brewing. Well, I mean,
Stewing.
Knox County is going to get out of the old Sears building. Maybe we could make the old Sears building property into a big amphitheater. Have to talk somebody into buying it. It's
Which
probably
one?
only going to be like $7 million.
Sears building.
When you're, I don't know. How do you want to think about it? Like, how do you want me to explain it?
This is an old like Sears and Roebuck building or something. Where's it at?
So how do you come in when you're coming in?
To
If you're coming down to Central, my Central store.
I've only ever been there a few times. I would probably take 240 to Baxter there or whatever. Woodland.
Okay, so you get off at Baxter. Get off at Woodland. You take a right onto Central, and you crest the hill, and then that's when you're coming down into the holler. And so as you're coming down the hill, Friesel's on the right, Angelic Ministries on the left. It goes down to the bottom of the hill, back up to the other hill, hence the holler. The top of the hill on the left side. So Three Rivers Market. You're still going up Central. You cross Baxter.
Yeah, as soon as I finish.
And right across Baxter on Central. So the corner of Central and Baxter, where Three Rivers is one corner, that old Sears building, the church, and there's a big field right now.
I can't really picture it, but
Yeah.
they're buying the field, the building. What now?
The Knox County, the old Sears is a Knox County archives and bullshit building.
Oh, okay.
And it's an agenda item for Knox County to get all that crap out of there and sell that and put it back on the tax rolls.
Do it.
And so, yeah, anybody who's got a bunch of money and wants to hit me up, we can buy that and we'll figure out something to do with it. It'll be fun. Make the holler great. We could put the trebuchet on the roof and we could throw fucking shitballs at Yeehaw from there. It'd be great. That's one of the things I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do in all the different neighborhoods I've worked at, whether I worked at or owned businesses in, have like a paintball, a paintball war weekend, where like everybody likes set up different things and just does. Like the paintball's the safer way, I guess. But like I'd love to build like a giant trebuchet on the roof of the tavern and just start hurling giant paintballs around. It would be damage. It would be a
That's what I was
problem.
about to
It'd
say.
be illegal. There's all sorts of problems with it. But just the idea of building a giant trebuchet and throwing shit across the street would be super fun.
Right.
If you're going to get into the trebuchet game, you don't build it on the roof. You build it in the parking lot behind the building, and then you throw it over your own building across the street into the building that you're trying to hit. You don't need to build it up high.
Well,
Yeah.
unless you're worried about saboteurs.
We're talking trebuchets, people. This is what we do. So anyway, news of the news. I'm trying to think if I missed anything else. There's not a lot else.
I don't
Baseball.
recall too much else local.
Baseball, soccer, Biggs budget. Big civil rights attorney that's running around doing a bunch of different cases came to town to check in with the families that got
Saw that. Ben
the Knox
Crump,
County
like
Sheriff's
his name.
Office has been killing. We'll see. I don't know. Like the Hills Hole, the guy that was apparently he worked for Cat Bus. I didn't know this part of the story. He's a Cat Bus driver. Got picked up by the sheriff driving around a parking lot in circles. Took him to UT Medical. UT Medical released him to Knox County custody. They took him to prison. He got in a fight with prison guards. Prison guards beat the shit out of him. They took him back to UT Medical, where he died. Preliminary cause of death was meningitis, which is a bacterial infection of the heart, I think.
Sure, what the meninges are.
And so the meningitis could potentially explain why he was erratically driving in circles in a parking lot. And so this Ben Crump character, big civil rights attorney guy, has at least stated the intent to, he has filed the intent to sue UT Medical Center for malpractice.
I think I did read that, yeah.
Which the connection between UT Medical Center and Knox County Sheriff's Detention Center, I have a lot of questions. Personal questions. From a personal point of view, not this particular case, but a different case.
The only hospital down there is Children's.
UT Medical Center.
Right. I'm saying I think the only other hospital in downtown would be Children's Hospital.
No, there's a full, right next to Children's is Fort Sanders Regional Medical Center. It's a huge fucking hospital of its own right.
Yeah.
I think there's the one UT Emergency is a level 1 trauma center. If it's bad, you go to UT.
Yeah.
Like that's the deal.
Right.
But it seems to me that UT is quick to release someone who is under criminal issue. I don't know what there's better phrasing than that. But if the cops bring you there because they're arresting you, and in the process of arresting you, you got fucked up, like hypothetical examples, like I'm in a high speed chase with Knox County Sheriffs, and they do the pit maneuver or whatever and push me off the road, and I roll the car over a bunch of times, and they drag me out of the car, and the ambulance comes and picks me up and takes me to the hospital. It seems like UT is quick to release people back into Knox County's Sheriff's Office custody.
I could see it being reasonable that they stabilize you to where you do not need hospital care, because they are supposed to have some kind of health facility or medical people at the jail themselves.
I don't like. This is all icky feeling stuff for me. This isn't nothing's corroborated on my side, but it just seems like this guy, the meningitis thing, was diagnosable with some. They pump him full of antibiotics while he's in there the first time.
I think that may affect the brain. I think you're right.
If he's not, if that is the cause of death, it could have been treatable the first time he was at UT, because they took him to UT, took him to the detention center, took him back to UT, and died the second time he was there.
It depends on if they diagnosed him as having meningitis.
Right. I think that's the malpractice case. Is that how did you miss that?
Right. Don't know how it's tested. But it's not uncommon you go into a hospital. I mean, they're not going to know right off the bat what's going on with you. They're going to have to run a few different tests.
But
wait for a test to come back negative, and they're like, okay, it's not that.
But then they release you, they're releasing you into KPD's or Knox County's custody,
right?
Who doesn't have the means to diagnose. They may have a medical wing in the detention center, but they don't diagnose there.
I'd say they could probably run like lab tests, or at least administer some kind of test to have it sent off. Be like, hey, test this for this,
right? But I'm just saying, if there's something obviously wrong with you, and there's something obviously bad going on, why would they release you? If it's something right.
That's what I don't know if they just kind of stabilized him.
Again, and my issue with it is that it's not just this case personally for me. Right. I have a second case that's in play to me that I feel like my understanding of what happened is they released this other person way too soon. And this my argument is that they released this other person way too soon, and that they had a seizure and died in their jail cell. And then Knox County brought him back, and then UT Medical pronounced them dead on the return. And it's like, well, there's something. I mean, I don't know. One time is an off. That just it's an occurrence. It happened.
Right.
But repeated instances seems like there's a little bit. There's something systematic in play here. That's my gut take. I have no corroboration. I'm making shit up at this point.
Now, there's definitely a lot of issues in the penal system. I think I've been seeing ads for, I don't know what, I think it's some kind of prison close to like Nashville that they're hiring guards for. But I mean, you hear it in the news all the time that there's understaffing in a lot of prisons.
I mean, that's got to be a shitty job. And I mean, they don't get paid. Like, I mean, it should be a well-paid job, and it's just not a well-paid job.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think I saw they were hiring like, might have been 50, 55
in
with
Nashville?
some kind of signing bonus. I think that might have been where the prison was. I'm not exactly sure.
So I think
But even then, yeah,
I think the Knox County Sheriff's Office way that they get correctional officers is that you go through academy and you are obliged for like the first year or 3.
I've heard of some that had done that. Yeah,
like your first couple of years as a Knox County Sheriff deputy are at the detention center.
Yeah,
and you grind it out and you survive that, and then you get to go out and be an actual, cop. So I don't know. That's a good. I don't know. Anyway, that was the other big headline of the week, locally at least. Did you catch any of that? Douglas Murray.
yeah, I've seen some clips on it.
It was rough. I tried to. I couldn't listen to it. Like I tried to listen to the actual Rogan episode. It's Murray and Dave Smith.
Right.
Dave Smith's my crazy libertarian that I listen to all the time. I didn't know that. I Breaking Points was talking about it. And so then I went and tried to listen to it, and it's hard to listen to. Like right off the bat, Douglas Murray's just trying to pick a fight. Rogan, you don't have enough,
kind of sounded like it.
You don't have enough pro-Israel guests on your show. It's like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I don't know. So I know he's got like a book coming out. I wouldn't think that he's an intelligent guy. I wouldn't think that he would be so blind to try to cause a stir. But maybe sometimes that stuff sells books. I don't know.
Maybe. I just don't I don't know. Like when it got to the actual points and stuff, I didn't understand his argument. Like,
I've seen some talks with him where I like some of the things he says. Like it was years ago when it was some of the anti-Islam like cartoons that were coming out. Like he was a big advocate that like, no, we don't need to be, trying to censor that. Like, this is censoring free speech, basically.
right.
Well, that was what was weird about it to me, is because that's what he's known for, and that's why he's kind of a big figure. Cause especially like he was an anti-lockdown, like some of the COVID restriction stuff that he was big against. It's like, this is weird. This is not okay. And he's was really active on the crazy leftist version of censorship or whatever you want to call it. And then like that's all he was doing in the episode when I was trying to listen to him. He was trying to tell Joe that he shouldn't be talking about that if he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's trying to tell Dave Smith, like, if you've never been to a crossing point, you're not allowed to talk about what's going on in Israel.
Right. And I saw somebody did like a mashup of actually like Douglas Murray, like counterpointing each other on that exact topic.
Yeah. Yeah. They did that on the
like,
Breaking Points.
Yeah, I think that might have been what was
Breaking
on.
Points played it when they had Dave Smith on to talk about it.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
And Dave Smith's reply was, yeah, I couldn't argue against him any better than he already did.
Right.
Like Dave's a super smart dude. He goes, I understand philosophically how he gets where he is. I just can't quite get there. Like he's a full anarcho-capitalist. I can't get to the full anarcho-capitalist stance. Like I'm close, but I just can't quite get there. I'm as close as you could possibly get. Like I'm a minarchist is what they would call it. Like minarchist is what the phrase is in the community.
Wow.
It's minimal as you can possibly get away with.
These guys are all about labels.
I guess I don't know. I don't make up the names. I just use the ones that are closely apply.
Right. I never heard that term.
I believe in the need for the state. Like Dave Smith says, he doesn't think the state needs to exist at all, and it's like I can't get there. Like we have to have some. There has to be some unifying factor here. It can't just be all of us out doing like I agree that for the most part, all of us out looking out for our own ends is going to be okay.
All right. Yeah, I've definitely talked to a couple of people that describe themselves as being libertarian, and I've tried to kind of like flesh out some different like arguments, and some just kind of have this kind of like delusional idea that like well, if we all just kind of do what we're supposed to do and we don't harm anybody else, like everybody's fine.
Well, I mean,
and I bring up like social, like what about fire? They're like, oh well somebody will pick up, and like people will band together, and I was like, so we're gonna have like co-ops to build roads, like How are they? Because they're going to start charging tolls, presumably.
Right. It's doable. It's doable. It's complicated and it's weird, but it's doable theoretically.
It relies upon a lot of charity, basically.
Right.
They're like, somebody, if they see a need for something, like somebody's going to chip in.
It could, but it goes back to again. I very much enjoy the Celebrity Jeopardy, like real Celebrity Jeopardy. SNL Celebrity Jeopardy is great too. Don't get me wrong, but like actual Celebrity Jeopardy, grand prize for this Celebrity Jeopardy tournament is $1 million to their charity of choice.
Right.
And like I think about this a lot. I've talked about this on the show a bunch of times. I would love to know if there is a number, if there is a economic person out there who's smart enough, or who knows somebody who's smart enough to give you this number. How much money is in charity? It's got to be in the trillions annually in the United States.
Yeah. So
we have a federal government who is how many $1 trillion budget? Single $1.5 trillion budget.
I recently passed one. I couldn't put a number on it.
And so it's like we have we have the forced charity, for lack of a better word, of the government. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating like this is a coerced charity that is the federal government that probably brings in the same amount of income as all these independent charities on their own, and we still can't successfully do shit. That's where I like. That's what that idea is. What fucks with me the most.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have the same thought when you kind of look at with the rise in sports betting. They talked about the amount of money that just gets done on like sports betting websites.
Right, but that's personal choice, like kind of bullshit. Like, but I'm just talking about.
I'm just talking about abstractly in general. When you look at like money flows around.
Okay.
When we talk about we don't have money for this, it's like well, it's money that like somehow people are spending all on this, and that's outside of like the probably billions of dollars that are just in the black market that basically untraceable money, or people just paying cash for this or that.
Yeah. But just for like, okay, so like if the idea of the charity is for a social cause and the government is for a social cause, that's like kind of that's kind of where I'm trying to tie them together. You know what I'm saying? Like we have this thing, like, I mean, how many billions are raised annually in school charities? And then how much money does the state of Tennessee and the federal government spend on schools at the same time? So it's like this idea of this $700 million budget that Knox County Schools has. Doesn't include federal funding. That's just the state version of the budget. That's what the state kicks in, as well as what the county is kicking into the school system. That's what let me back up a second. That is what Risewick is asking for in his budget proposal. $700 million. I would argue that in Knox County, there are at least tens of millions of dollars more that get donated or invested into the school system by local charitables.
Well, in my experience, there was kind of like there was some company that would come and put on like a run that they would do, and it was branded and everything. But then, thankfully, I guess the PTA actually looked at the numbers and they realized that they would save a lot more money and bring more money into the school if they put it on themselves versus paying this company, that has their program, and I guess they show up, bring their own people to kind of like organize it and everything.
To organize a what?
They had like a branded name for it. It's basically like a fun run, where I guess you would go out and get donations for however
fundraiser, right?
For how many laps you would run, right?
Whatever. But I'm saying,
it was kind of leading into it where that was a charity but it basically kind of sounded like charity was taking a decent chunk, and a lot of it wasn't even going to the schools.
But that's part of the point I guess I'm trying to get to.
Right, but that was one thing. I guess I'm trying to pull back on your amount of money you think comes from charities,
right? Because certainly in both sides of it, but in the traditional charity side of it, there is probably more gets siphoned off, for lack of a better word, in processing. People whose profession is to run the charity, it's somebody who is working there that manages the books, which is a real job and needs to be done or whatever. But it's like, well, if instead of having a charity that's raising money for schools that all just went directly to schools in the first place, we would not do this thing or whatever. Yeah. It's like, hey, maybe the better way to look at it is like, Europeans don't tip, right? Like it's not normal for tipping in Europe.
Right. They have the value-added tax already pretty much added into the...
Right, and so if we looked at it, so quit giving money to charities and just accept paying more taxes, and then we have more money for the schools. Same thing, realistically.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, you know, like if the state, like, would the state of Tennessee fucking do it? I don't know. It'd be interesting. But hey, like, here's the deal, guys. Stop giving to charities that are giving money to your schools, that are helping provide things for your schools. Stop. Your income is your income. I'm going to take 5% more of your income, and we're going to put it into the schools. Stop giving 5% of your income to these charities. Why not?
Yeah.
Because then we take all the administrative costs of this other thing out of the way. But the question, I mean, and the reality, I think here, and I think this is the truth, the bottom line truth is here, is it's a trust issue. I don't trust the state to take my tax money and do a good job with it. I would rather give it to this charity. So stop taxing me for it. And that's a political thing. It's not necessarily a reality thing, but it's it's the trust between person and government and person and charity. Because I mean, it's the same thing with charities too. Is you get these charities that get a moniker for being kind of shady, and people stop giving to them.
Right.
Like
they're doling out 25% of money earned.
Right. My dad stopped giving to Carm because he realized that the stores were a different thing than Carm is.
Right.
And so, like, he's like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm not giving money to these guys anymore. That's because my dad bothers looking at kind of shit. Like,
right.
That's just the way he is. But, you know, like, that's the point. I guess that's the broader point I'm trying to get to. It's like, we as Americans spend a gajillion dollars on this stuff.
I hear about, like, kind of crazy GoFundMe pages that go viral, and that's end up how they get more money. But, you know, somebody that's, like, needing a surgery that needs $10,000, all of a sudden they get, like, $150,000.
Right.
That's all essentially crowdsourced throughout the U.S., but it's kind of interesting when you see. It's good to see, you know, when somebody's in need, that people will collectively kind of show charity and help somebody out.
But it's sad to see that the systems that are in place that are supposed to do that without fail so fucking miserably, and that's a known. You know, that's the sad part. Is that all these systems that are supposed to be in place to take care of this shit for us as people, our government is so bad at it that we are so used to being like, hey, that guy needs some help, I'm going to help him.
I would say that's probably more private health care I would put at fault.
I don't know, but it'd be 6 or half dozen here, man.
Yeah.
You know, because, like, how many people are, like, if you're bad enough off that you need to GoFundMe for a surgery, you're probably poor enough on the day-to-day basis that you probably qualify for state insurance anyway. You probably qualify for a 10 care or something like that.
I don't know what the cutoff is anymore.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I feel like we stumbled on. I feel like I've stumbled on some clarity to the idea.
Pretty low, I guess. I have a soft spot for what most people call the working poor. Working poor, people that are right there in between. That, you know, they can't take. I know people personally that haven't been able to take a raise because it would kick them off tent care, and then that would then fuck them on the 2 kids that they had, as far as, you know, making sure they could take them to the dentist and doctor's visits.
Yeah, no, 100%. I will never forget this girl she was a hostess. Got pregnant while she was a hostess. Legally single. Had the baby. Like, she's a hostess, so she wasn't like a super important employee or anything like that, but she did the job, and she was great, and she was fun, and we all liked her and whatever. And when she was pregnant, she was working full-time. As soon as she had the baby, she took some time off. When she came back, she had like 3 weeks of full-time, and then she said, I can't work full-time anymore.
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. Take care of your kid. Absolutely, 100%. She's like, no, I have time to work full-time, but if I'm making more than X, if I'm making basically more than 3 days a week of my normal income here, I don't qualify, or my kid doesn't qualify for coverage on XYZ.
Right.
It's like, well, that's a really poor incentive to put in play. I mean, yeah, great. She spends more time with her kids. She's a better mom. Beautiful. Those are wonderful things. But it's like, well,
how much is she's still struggling just because she's only getting?
She's not right. She's not in good shape. She's again, she's a hostess. There's opportunities for her hostess to excel past that in the food industry, but the food industry is never going to be a great income for her anyway. But you know, it's like when you're looking at a resume for somebody and they were a part-time hostess. It's like, you got anything else on there that tells me that you're like, you know, are a good employee? You're a part-time hostess for 7 years. That doesn't tell me that you're capable of doing X. So, you know, I don't know, but I get it. Like, I think that's like, I think I don't know. I think I've congealed an idea that I've been floating around for a while just now, and I'm excited about it right now.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's like I really want to know the number. It's got to be out there. Somebody has to know it. almostagreement@gmail.com. There's got to be a number of total nonprofit collections annually, and it's got. I would be astounded if it's less than $1 trillion.
I'm trying to remember heard it mentioned in the kind of, I guess, recent stories about Harvard. They have, I want to say something like a $50 billion endowment.
Yeah.
Which I think endowment is essentially money donated by like former alumni or people that put like a trust where that money kind of basically stays in the Harvard system.
Yeah.
I think that's what endowment is.
Mm-hmm. I can see an endowment tax being a good thing. I just said tax being a good thing and kind of meant it in a sense. I've been hanging out with Jesse too much. Turning into a fucking progressive. One of them loony leftists.
Radical.
Did you see my new super cool hat?
Yeah, you have shown it to me. Did you forget that?
Yeah, I did. I'm really uncomfortable with it. I don't like it. It's too close. Which is the point. It's the joke. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to. I don't know. We're so bad at this. Like we're just so bad at this as a nation. Which still, I mean, which I think that's what I think that's that. I think this is why I argue for the way I argue it. Like I think we need to turn over the system. Trump and Pelosi and McConnell and Burchett and all these people shouldn't be on the top of our radar of people that matter.
Did you see Burchett's, I guess, got quoted on a show past couple days?
Oh, I did listen to his. I did get. He called me.
Recorded or?
I don't know. I'm on a call list. He didn't call me. It was he called. Well, like it came up on my phone as Tim Burchett,
right?
And so of course I answered the phone. I put it on speaker, and it's like my virtual town hall is starting very shortly. If you would like to join me, blah blah blah. It's like okay. So I just left it on. I hooked it up. I've got it. I recorded the whole thing.
Yeah.
He told me that he was recording it too, so I feel like we're fair, like fair game.
Yeah.
It's also public. I mean, it should be public record if it isn't. I don't plan to publish it. It was really dumb.
For personal use.
It was really dumb and uninformative. But it's his attempt to answer the call for the Dems saying, if your reps aren't holding town halls, we will.
I'm not sure what he was on, but I guess he was asked about the recent proposition to possibly sending U.S. citizens to foreign prisons. He's apparently all about that. And he was like, yep, they're criminals. I don't like it.
Oh, I mean, it's just like fundamentally not constitutional.
Exactly.
I mean, that's mildly important, I think, for conversation's sake.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, okay. Like, if it's due process, if it's full-on fuck due process, and this is literally just a holding shitbags conversation, whatever. I don't care. Whatever box you want to throw them in, it's fine with me. They still need to be up to the standards that we hold, which the Salvadorian one or whatever is not gonna. Which actually, that's why I bought the rum that I bought tonight. It's because it's from Venezuela.
Oh.
Like literally, I looked at the bottle and I was like, "All right, let's do it." But anyway, yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, like where we hold the worst of the worst is irrelevant to me. That we hold them in the standards that we value as Americans, that matters to me. So if Bukale, is that his name?
Something like that. I'm not sure the proper pronunciation.
If Bukale or whatever has a prison that is at minimum close to our standards, okay, whatever. I don't give a shit. As long as they've gone through the whole fuck process of, this is like somebody that would go to a Supermax in Texas goes to a Supermax in Venezuela. I don't care. If we can outsource it and it's cheaper and it saves a few tax dollars, but it holds the standard, okay. That doesn't bother me. But the reality here is that's not what we're talking about.
All right.
And what we're talking about is this is, and I get the premise, like this is like the vengeance premise of like, if you're going to do the bad stuff, we're going to do worse stuff to you. This is our deterrent for you to make this poor life choice of doing the thing that you're about to do. Before you murder your wife in cold blood, you might end up in El Salvador, which is way worse than any prison you've ever heard about or seen on TV. If that's the play we want to do with our prison system, okay, I can understand the argument for that. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying I can understand the argument.
I guess the worry, I think, for most, just kind of comes from, I guess, the explanations that have come from the Justice Department of this whole game of like, what? He's out of the country. We can't do anything.
That's the due process part that I was
right.
like that. That's the thing to me is the due process part. Like,
well, A, they didn't go through it, but then B, they're basically like, well, yeah, we sent them there, but once they're out of, U.S. territory, then we can't do anything anymore. It's like, well, what do you mean? You sent them there, and apparently we're paying them like $6 million contract to house people.
Right. Let's just stop making the payments and see what happens.
I was reading one. I think there's some lawsuit against like Costa Rica because they're hosting. It was a bunch of like Asians and like Russians and like Central America, or not Central Americans, like a bunch of like Europeans and Asians that got sent down to get housed in Costa Rica. Again, allegedly without little to no due process. I think there was
the due process part is tip top of the report. It's like like that's the problem with this whole thing. The reason that this is even remotely sellable is that it's a valid conversation. Like, what do we do with people that don't deserve to be here? And deserve to be here is a very fluid phrase. I get it. But, theoretically we have a process. And part of the problem Trump's having is that his previous, that he hates, reset the process and made it way too easy to be here in the gray area. And that's something that Trump's trying to undo because he feels like that's what he's supposed to do. But it's like, look, man, the law's the law. If the guy that you don't like set the law and you don't like the way he set the law, it doesn't mean you get to skip it. You still got to fucking go through the process.
Right. That's one reason why they invoked, 150, 200-year-old laws that are very broad powers.
Again, I'll go back to the argument is like, we have fucked up as a nation by electing fucking pussy-ass reps and senators who are too chicken shit to do their job, and it's just easier to let the executive do it. The legislative branch of the federal government sucks. They suck hard, bad. And they've done it for decades. And that's the only reason that they've handed off the ability for some bullshit. I'm going to pull up some old fucking thing. It's like, okay, fine, pull up some old thing. But we're going to put you in check on that because you don't have the authority to do it in the way you're trying to do it. But they're too lazy, too stupid, or too politically motivated to bother doing their job.
Yeah.
They're too busy arguing about other stuff. They're too busy fighting over this, that, and the other. It's like, no, stop it.
Now, there was a funny clip of, I think it was a Senate, probably some Senate kind of economic hearing that was going on where they were grilling, basically, the new trade secretary. Apparently, it was the day that I think tariffs got called off or something. I think it was like the 9th or whatever. But it was funny. He's like, not saying he was foreign. He's like, well, this doesn't happen. He's like, I need to know like who's neck to ring. Was his literal words. He's like, all right, I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of leeway. He's like, but kind of the way I'm seeing these things, like if this doesn't work out, it's like I need to know, like, were you the one that made this decision?
Right, but like, where's Massey, Senator Massey, and Rand Paul, like any of the like quote more libertarian Republicans in the Senate right now, like they're fucking pissing me off.
I know Massey was against the new, budget that got passed, which, hey, our defense budget got bigger. Surprise.
So stupid. I guess theoretically, I guess logically it makes sense. Let's go piss off the world. Let's go fuck a bunch of people over. Let's get everybody mad at us. But make sure we have the biggest gun. Like, logically it makes sense. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Greenland? What are you going to do, Denmark? What are you going to do about it? We will wipe you off the face of the fucking earth in 10 seconds. We can do that. It's not a great thing. I'm not arguing for it. Let me be clear. I'm not advocating for this stance. I would be remiss to not reference myself for the years we've been doing this show. Military spending is out of fucking control. It's crazy. If we want to really cut budget, if we really want to try to get a balanced budget ever in this country, number 1A is military spending, period. We're going to take your grandma's Social Security check away, but we're going to send another fucking $10,000 bunker buster over to Israel to drop on some people in tents. Make that make sense.
Sorry, Doge is going to save us money. I think they're up to $150 billion. They've come out and said that they've saved.
Cool. Write me the fucking check or fuck off.
A little short of the $2 trillion they were aiming for.
Start writing us our payback checks or fuck off.
That'd be nice.
Look, you know what? Like, yeah, I mean, look, like the national forest system can suck ass. Just give me my money back. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, fine. You know, I'll go to the Smoky Mountains and the bathroom's dirty. That's fine. Give me, I don't know, $5,000 of the 40 or whatever that I've paid over the last couple of years. Just give me that back, and that's fine. I'll deal with the dirty bathroom. But no, you're going to keep taking my money and give me the dirty bathroom. Go fuck yourself. Come on now. What are we doing? But hey, we could kill more people. Yay! That's what drives me. Like,
we still can't account for it, though.
Right. Again, where's Massey and Rand Paul on that one? It's like, fucking Christ almighty. Like, you made the point before, but you're too chicken shit to do it now that Trump's president? Come on. The Pentagon doesn't deserve $1. Like, if I'm Doge, if I'm Musk and I'm running Doge, I just cut the budget. No, you have no more budget.
That cuts into his budget, though.
Well, yeah.
Or cuts into the money that could go to him.
Does go to him, yes.
Right.
Which is its own problem. I agree. But, you know, it's like, just like, you can't pass an audit ever.
Yeah.
Like, you literally can't account for trillions of dollars that have been given to you, and you get a bigger budget this year. What are we doing?
We're hiring better accountants.
No, I mean, literally, I'm at the point where, like, as much as, like, so, like, you know, almost 2 years ago when the Israeli, or the October 7th attack and the Israeli response or whatever, all the shit that's going on in Ukraine, and, like, me freaking out about my kids are going to get drafted and go to war. At this point, like, they might not have an economic choice. There might not be another job that's worth doing in the United States other than going into the military at this point.
Oh, man, we're bringing back manufacturing. We're going to have so many Americans screwing in tiny little screws of the iPhones. Yeah. We got this.
Did you see that spoof? Who was it? It wasn't Daily Show. They did a spoof on the American-made iPhone. Instead of Siri, it'll have Donnie.
No.
Oh, it was funny. It's good. It was basically like Trump was Siri, and it was just like, oh, that was good. Then the have you seen the sketch from SNL when Shane Gillis was on, where he had the gold sneakers?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, it was so good. So so Shane Gillis is playing basketball. He's just playing pickup basketball at the gym or whatever, and he's hanging out in River. And he's not very good, but then he's got the gold Trump shoes on, and like he pulls up, shoots a shot, like misses terribly. He looks down, his shoes start glowing at him. When it comes back up to his face, he's got the Trump hair, and he's doing his Trump impression. And the guy in the corner is like, "Dude, you suck." He's like, "No, I made that. I made that shot because I'm the best." And so it just goes on, and he's talking to his buddy. He's like, "So those shoes made you good at basketball?" He's like, "No, they made me good at telling people that I'm good at basketball." And I can say it so convincingly that they believe me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's perfect. It was one of the best parodies I've seen in a long fucking time.
He does a pretty good impression.
Oh, he does a great Trump, but I'm just saying, like, the premise, like the actual, like, content of the premise of his Trump impression was doubly perfect. It's like you just say it in a way, and people, like, somehow if you say it in a way just right, like Trump does, people believe you.
Yeah.
And they can literally, like, you could literally miss a shot playing basketball, and you say it right, like Trump says it, and they're going to believe that you made the shot, even though they watched you miss. That's how fascinatingly perfect Trump's timbre or whatever. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is about Trump, he can do that.
That's how you win golf tournaments too. I'm a winner.
Yeah, I did it. I made it. I made the shot. Nobody can make that shot but me. I do the best. I am the best basketballer that has ever been. I know, Rowdy, I'm talking about Trump. It upsets you. I'm sorry. But you're the best dog. I'm the best dog that's ever been. It's my dog. Not because he's a special dog. It's because I'm special and he's mine.
Yeah.
I don't know. You want to get weird for a little bit? I'm kind of running out of steam here.
This must be an annual thing, because I swear I remember this story from last year, too. We got Sweets from the Sky. A helicopter marshmallow drop thrills kids in suburban Detroit. It's springtime in Detroit. Warm weather, a few clouds, and a 100% chance of marshmallow downpours.
I saw that Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs movie. It's fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Hundreds of kids waiting early. Colorful baskets. Yeah, it's like an Easter thing. Volunteers in yellow vests made sure kids didn't rush in and start grabbing marshmallows until the deluge was complete. For anyone worried about hygiene, don't fret.
They're all wrapped.
Let's see here. It isn't about eating the marshmallows. Kids could exchange them for a prize bag that included a water park pass and a kite. We've been doing it for over 3 decades.
That's fun.
But you know some of those are getting eaten.
I'd eat one. Oh, fuck it.
I would too. Yeah.
I mean,
The really big ones I didn't care for. Wasn't the biggest fan of those. Now they've got those big. You ever seen like the bags of like the giant ones?
Yeah, I've seen. They have all sorts of special ones. They have square ones that fit your s'more perfectly.
I think I've seen those. We got Meet Jobu, the good luck charm behind St. Louis Blues' late season run to the playoffs.
Like, fuck you, Joe Boo, I'll do it myself?
It's Jobu. Yes, the same Jobu from 1989 baseball comedy Major League.
Okay. That was my reference. All right, I got it.
Oh, is that what you did? Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, that was the line in Major League. Fuck you, Joe Boo, I'll do it myself.
I remember cursing at me. I don't remember specific lines from it.
Yeah. So the Blues, I mean, okay, tell me more.
No.
That's it? They're
Basically, they're using it as, a good luck
using
charm.
Voodoo Doll as a good luck charm?
See, offers rum to remove the fear of the bat. 6 years since Glory was the anthem of the Blues franchise. First Stanley Cup run. Jobu's arrival is the latest good luck charm. His presence felt by the entire roster.
I'm sure.
The local media noticed Jobu's arrival in late February when asked about his origins. The standard reply from Blues players is that the doll just showed up, like magic.
Oh, some equipment manager is getting a bonus this year. One more.
Oh, let's see here. Cat smuggling ring? Nah. So we got you might have seen this story. A U.S. YouTuber remains in custody in India after visiting a restricted island with Diet Coke can.
I have not seen this story.
I've heard of it. I've seen a couple things
I'm
like
not that hip with the YouTube. I don't know why you assumed I heard this story, but
it made national news. It's about a U.S. citizen. I'm pretty sure it's
is this another like Filipino kid that's going to get caned kind of thing?
I'm not sure what the. It's a pretty. I don't know if it's a severe punishment. They're pretty hardcore about it. Like if it's the island I'm thinking of, it's like this desolate island that they've had like this tribe that has been isolated there.
Oh, that one that kills the missionaries and shit?
I'm assuming that's probably what it is, because I think they have like a national law that basically says like no one goes there. It is completely against the law.
Right.
You
it's
cannot
technically
go there.
theirs, but they don't even touch it themselves. Yeah.
See,
Well, that's gangsta. Good job, dude. Whatever. Did he get what happened? What happened to him?
they
They didn't kill him when he got to the island.
I guess not. See,
So he gave him a Diet Coke, and they were cool.
He will next appear before a local court in Port Blair, the capital of India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands.
So wait, time out. Back up.
Wow.
He attempted to, or he did.
He was arrested after visiting an off-limits island in the Indian Ocean in hopes of establishing contact with a reclusive tribe. Was further detained in custody on Thursday.
So he got to the island, but he got taken off before he got.
It is the Sentinelese tribe, the North Sentinel Island.
But just let him do it and get murdered. What are we talking about here? Why are you going to take him into custody and mess with that stuff? That'd be a great YouTube show. I'd watch that.
See, he left. I'm sure he probably streamed it. I would guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
He left a can of Diet Coke and a coconut as offering to the tribe this time after he failed to contact the Sentinelese. He shot a video of the island on his camera and collected some sand samples before returning to his boat.
Okay. All right, never mind. All right, I get it. So that's arrestable. I get it. Hanging by his toenails from a flagpole. You know me. I like to put people on flagpoles.
Carries a possible sentence of up to 5 years in prison and a fine.
Yeah, get him. Hammer him to the... Yeah, screw that guy. Like, if they didn't kill him, he didn't even make contact. Just wasted our time. Got us excited. I want to see him get murdered.
I think the guy that got caned was like a drug charge in like the Philippines or
Yeah.
something.
I wasn't sure, what we were talking about there for a second.
Yeah, so here in 2018, an American missionary who landed illegally on the beach was killed by him, who apparently shot him with arrows and then buried his body on the beach.
Oh, they buried him? I forget there's something.
Let's see, 2006, they killed 2 fishermen who had accidentally landed on the shore.
Yeah.
They don't F around with their land.
Nope. I love it. I like it. It's yours. Murder anybody. Murder everybody. Not sure how the gene pool is working for those people, but, whatever. Do your thing. I'm good with it. Anything else popping out at you?
Nah, we'll save a couple maybe for later. I don't see anything popping out. But
All right, last call on anything, actually newsworthy you want to cover before we go? I feel like we've missed so much, but...
Nothing's popping out.
Yeah, well, introducing hemp tariffs, everybody. All right, I didn't mean to come back to that, but, it's like a circle. We come back to the beginning at the end. We're Almost Agreement, almostagreement@gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Check out on there. Hallelujah is upon us. It is 29 days away. I am in full freak-out mode. It's going to be crazy for me for the next little bit. But we're going to pull it off. We're going to do a soapbox survey. We're going to do a street fair. We're going to do a rock and roll show. And you're going to come out and have a good time. And you're not going to pay anything except for what you put in your face. They're Almost Agreement, almostagreement@gmail.com. Check us out. Go to your favorite podcast provider. Share, like, friend, follow. Do whatever you can do to support us. And tell your friends about us, that kind of thing. We're going to keep doing shows. City races are upon us. We are going to start messing around. I am going to talk to some of those people. I'm trying to get an audience with Mayor Jacobs. I'm sorry, I'm so rude. As well as others. So, I still want to talk to the police chief. Anyway, we're Almost Agreement. Check us out. We're going to do, I don't know. Fuck it. I'm out. We're done. That show is brought to you by distractions. Children, dogs, everything. Getting up in your shit.